Recently, I had the opportunity to sit in on a really interesting conversation with several CEOs and organizational leaders. It was a Q&A discussion centered around the latest Edelman Trust Barometer and what it's telling us about leadership right now. And the title of the program was called The Trust Shift: Navigating Leadership in an Age of Uncertainty. And as I listened to the conversation and later spent some time digging through the data myself, there were a few insights that really stood out to me and that even gave me pause. In fact, I walked away thinking about three leadership realities that I believe are imperative for organizations to be able to have to navigate more intentionally in the next 90 days. And I'll share those with you. The first one is the reality is that the people are becoming more insular or narrow-minded in how they extend trust to others. Now, the report shows that about 7 out of 10 people say that they are hesitant or unwilling to trust someone who is different from them. Now, when we say different, we're not just talking about political differences. We're talking about differences in values, differences in backgrounds, the sources that people trust for information, and even the approaches that they believe are best for solving problems. And the report refers to this as an insular trust mindset. Now, that's a pretty significant shift, and I'll explain why. When people become more cautious about trusting those who see the world differently, next up, collaboration, that naturally becomes harder. The second reality is that this insularity, it doesn't just stay outside of the organization. They bring it inside of the company with them. It shows up inside, and the research highlights something that I think many leaders are really underestimating right now. Employees are saying that they may put less effort into helping leaders succeed if they strongly disagree with their beliefs or values. They may avoid reporting to managers whose values feel very different from their own, and sometimes those differences begin to show up as lost productivity. So you have to understand this isn't just a social dynamic that we're dealing with right now. It becomes a productivity issue, it becomes a leadership issue, and it becomes a culture issue. Because when that trust shrinks, what you're going to find is that the teamwork usually shrinks right along with it. The third reality is this, and I think this is probably the most important one, and it's that organizations are now being asked to play a much bigger role in bridging those divides. However, the leadership and the leaders aren't being equipped to be able to navigate those difficult conversations. One of the stronger findings in the report is that people believe employers are actually better positioned than many other institutions to help build trust across the differences. Now, that's a pretty profound shift. Organizations are no longer just expected to show up, produce results, and drive performance. They're increasingly expected to be able to help people work through those differences in a constructive way. And the report refers to this, and I love this term. It refers to this as trust brokering. Now, as I think about those three realities, one of the questions that keeps coming to mind for me is this: how well are leadership teams actually aligned in how they work through differences? Because alignment isn't just about agreeing on the goal. It's about how leaders navigate the moments when they see things differently. And when leadership teams aren't aligned around trust and difference, the organization tends to feel almost immediately. Decisions get slower, teams become more hesitant to challenge each other's ideas, and initiatives that require that collaboration across the different groups, it begins to stall, and as a result, innovation is impacted. In many cases, what organizations describe as a culture problem, it starts as a leadership alignment problem. And that's usually where the real work begins. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be sharing a few more reflections as I continue to dive deeper into the report and sift through all of the data. I'll be talking about how some of these dynamics may be showing up inside your organization and what leadership teams can do to navigate them more effectively in the next 30 days. So stay tuned. I think this is a conversation that more leaders are going to need to be having. And these are the kind of conversations that we often find ourselves having with executives when they're working to strengthen alignment across the teams and a trust across their organizations.